we are back at the Daily Planet. Clark is trying to talk to Lois.
Hi.
And she's real sad because she knows that she's lost him.
Yes, I am selfish when it comes to you. I am selfish. And I'm jealous of the whole world.
The only thing is it's going to be painful to see you every day, knowing who you are and what we had and all that. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. And then how about a kiss? He gives her a kiss, and there's literally Tinkerbell music that plays like. And the second they finish kissing, she kind of passes out a little. The short-haired friend who was the real of the Daily Planet for like, wow, he's even bigger than Superman. That lady, she's like, are you okay? Shuts her up. But here she's concerned about Lois, like, oh, I think she passed out. Here, have some water, and then it's clear as she wakes up, she's like, oh, hey Clark, what's up? I want a hamburger. He looks at her sadly because it's like, I had to do it, and she's totally forgotten. And she does look up and she goes to the friend. She goes, what's been happening in the world? What's new in the world?
Yeah.
And she's like, are you crazy? Don't you remember you got by Superman?
And this is
nope.
The interesting thing. Obviously, we've already talked about it. In the Donner cut, they did away with that scene, and they chose to go instead with turning back time again. Not because it made sense, but just because that was the only option they had. Besides, because they really didn't want to use Lester's magic kiss. And I agree with that, but for a different reason, because apparently the reason why they didn't use the kiss, and this is said multiple times in interviews, that Tom Mankiewicz said when they were considering, okay, what do we do here? Because Michael Thaw, as I already said, was begging Donner and Mankiewicz to come up with a new ending that he could do animatics or something for, or actor stand-ins, or come up with something new, but they didn't want to do it. But the reason that Mankiewicz came up with for not using the Lester kiss was Lois should only kiss Superman. She shouldn't kiss Clark. Oh, so that's why we can't use the magic kiss.
Well, that's a weird reason.
What about her having no agency and her, her not being left to her as a human being, being left to actually get over this thing on her own? And you actually see when the first conversation they have in the Donner cut outside the fortress after he destroys the fortress with his heat vision.
Those people need you. Do you think I don't understand that?
She seems like she's going to be okay. She's like, oh, I understand. All right.
I mean, it's still emotional and it's bittersweet, but she's handling it a lot better.
And I will say, as much as I don't like the whole idea of her memory being erased, whether through a magic kiss or turning back time again, because it removes her agency as a character.
Yeah.
That scene that Lester shot is fantastic. Her performance in that scene is absolutely fantastic.
But so is the one in the Donner cut. I do find both to be really well acted, really, because they're delivering it. I just hate the same reasons I dislike I'm taking this burden from you. He's trying to do it for a good reason, but it is still taking her agency away. And and the magic nonsense of a forget me kiss. It's like, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
It's so dumb that I prefer going back in time. His going back in time is not just self-protective. It actually does undo all the damage of the Kryptonian villains. So none of it happened in the Donner cut. But anyway, so I do prefer the going back in time, even though, again, I saw it in the previous movie, just because I so hate the kiss thing. I hate it.
And Michael Thaw says he doesn't really think the Donner cut, which he edited, did all the sound mixing stuff himself with Donner's and Mankiewicz's approval and supervision. He doesn't think of the Donner cut as really, it's not really a movie. It's more like an experiment or like a really, really elaborate extra.
Oh, agreed. It is an extra. This is an alternate universe. What could have been, exactly. And I take it as such.
Yeah. So that ending is not, they all admit that's not how the movie would have ended had they actually been able to finish production as planned.
It does put them all at the same place at the end, which is basically Superman being the only one who remembers that they had that, that's painful, actually. I think that's a lot of the stuff they do in it humanizes him, which I always like.